There is a handful of LEGO Ninjago sets that are about to leave the shelves for good. At the end of this year, we're going to lose a whole host of Ninjago sets. Now, of course, this is a pretty big theme, so there's a lot of sets in the theme, which of course means a lot of retirements every year. LEGO Group have been really doubling down on Ninjago for the last couple of years. It is a theme that is highly beloved, very, very popular, helped along, of course, by the TV show and how popular the show got. But this theme has really grown in popularity over the last couple of years. As a result, the LEGO Group have doubled down on the designs, releasing new sets in this theme very, very frequently. And then of course we get to the end of the life of those sets and we have a ton of them leaving the shelves for good at the same time this December. So I want to look at these sets, which of the LEGO Ninjago sets are leaving us in a couple of months and which ones should we be paying more attention to? What are my thoughts on these sets overall? Let's just jump in and have a look at some of these sets. Now, first up, we are going to talk about Lloyd's Ninja Mech. I love mech sets in general. You have mech sets popping up in all sorts of different themes. It's the same idea, of course. You have a mech and then you have some minifigures. Typically we have Marvel mechs, we have Star Wars mechs, we have Ninjago mechs, and this is Lloyd's Ninja Mech. It is set number 71757. Now, what are some of the numbers on this one? We have piece count of 57 here with 2 minifigures. One of those minifigures is unique. It is a price per piece of 18 cents. Now that's a little bit high on this set. Of course, when you have those lower price sets, sometimes you can have higher price per piece because the number of minifigures, and the minifigures can typically be a big important part of why the price is what it is. Now, it's still a cheap set. It's a $10 set, and it was released in January 2022, retiring the end of December 2023. That'll be a 2-year shelf life for this mech set. Now, in general, again, I love mech sets, and we do have, this is just a typical old mech set. It is based on the Lloyd character, of course, one of the very, very popular characters in this series. And the build is quite simple here. Again, it's just 57 pieces, so there's nothing really, really crazy going on here. We do get the little spider piece and different things, but in general, is this a great investment set? Right, at the end of the day, it depends on whether there's going to be continued demand in the future for some of these sets. A $10 set, if you can get this at 30% off, then I can see, you're buying it for $7, even $8. I can easily see sets like this hitting 25, even higher on Amazon, depending on the marketplace that you sell on. Sometimes people are happy enough to just go ahead and pay $30 for a mech set like this one because they're finishing their collection, they're buying the other characters, and they want to get this one. So even though the price per piece is quite high, the perceived value from someone who's collecting these sets would be higher than what it is currently selling for. And if you can get it at a discount, of course, that adds to that. That really helps to create an extra margin for you. And so sometimes these low priced sets can actually do quite well because they have runway for the price to increase. And again, mech sets, we've seen it in the past, and I've done very, very well with some mech sets. Now, my problem with mech sets is really that it's a little bit harder to scale them. And so I'm trying to kind of operate at a bigger level, and I'm trying to find Lego sets to invest in that I can, put more cash to work. And for a $10 set, especially if you're buying it at $7 or $8, it's going to take you some time to deploy larger amounts of money, but the return on investments are typically very strong, or can be very strong on these sets. Now again, they're not always a sure thing, but it is possible that they can do quite well. Now, looking at number 2 here, we have a dragon set. In the world of Ninjago, you have a handful of different types of sets that pop up time and time again. One of them is temples, of course. We have a lot of different temples in this Ninjago universe. Another one is dragons. We get dragons all the time, and this helps to form a bit of a collection. And when people want one dragon, they may want another one to help with their collection of different things. This one is Jay's Thunder Dragon Evo and is set number 71760. So the piece count on this one is 140 pieces. It is a little bit bigger than what we just looked at. Instead of a $10 set, it is a $20 set. Price per piece of 14 cents with 2 minifigures. Now, one of these minifigures is unique. I always like to see that unique minifigure count because it definitely helps me to think about, whether those minifigures are more likely to go up in value because they become scarce. Again, unique does not mean it'll always be unique. There's always a chance that sets in the future will be released that, also include a variant of a minifigure and therefore will change the fact that this was unique. But right now, one of these minifigures is unique. Price per piece of 14 cents. Again, a $20 MSRP, and retiring in December 2023 after having been released at the start of January 2022. That'll be a shelf life of 2 years. So I do like these dragons. Now, this is not one of my favorites, of course, because this is a $20 set. And the thing about the dragon sub-theme in Ninjago is that they can really vary in price point. And some of them are $60 or even higher. And then we have one like this one, which is $20. And of course, the detail is going to suffer a lot if you have a $20 dragon versus a $60 dragon. That is, of course, a natural thing that's going to happen. And when you look at this one, I do think it's a little bit lacking in terms of the detail and the way the dragon is built out here. So it doesn't excite me a lot because of that. And also, also, I think the difference in price points is going to be a reduction in the importance of collectability, right? Because if you are a collector of all the other dragons and, you know, one or two of them are kind of obviously lacking in detail, you're going to be less likely to want to go and hunt it down, right? So the fact that there's a $20 dragon kind of takes away from it, in my personal opinion, because I think it differs a little bit too much from some of the others. Now, we do have other dragons that are in the $30 price point, and we've had them historically, you know, so it's not that out of the normality here, but 20 I think is a little bit too low because the value that they can give you in the box here, I don't think it's enough for the type of detail that I would like to see on a dragon build for Ninjago. All right, moving into number 3 here, and next up we have Zane's Power Up Mech Evo, and this is set number 71761. So once again, we have another mech here. Now this is a bit of a bigger one. It's 95 pieces in this one for Zane, and set number 71761, 95 pieces, 2 minifigures, one of which is unique. Pretty good value on this one of 11 cents price per piece. It's got the same $10 price point that we saw with that first mech that we looked at. You know, the number of pieces obviously helps us to have a better build and a better kind of experience with the set, and so the value that you're getting here is a whole lot better than that other Lloyd mech that we saw. This was the same release date of January 2022, same retirement date of December 2023. So Zane's mech edging out over the Lloyd's mech because of the build that you're getting here, and you do see it when you look at the picture. You do see the detail is obviously better, right? And we do kind of have a lot more going on here. Obviously more parts to make up the legs. As we saw with the first mech, it was just kind of one completely molded part. We're actually building out the legs here. Just more going on overall. All right, number 4 here, we have Lloyd's Race Car Evo, and vehicles are another area in Ninjago that we see a lot of. We got flying vehicles, we got cars and bikes and different things, quite a lot. And so this is set number 71763, Lloyd's Race Car Evo, and it is 279 pieces in the box here. So 3 minifigures with a price per piece of 13 cents, MSRP of 35, so a little bit higher than those last 3 sets we've looked at. Also the same release date of January 2022 and retiring in December of 2023. So, you know, when it comes to the vehicles, I think they're a lot of fun, right? There's a lot of playability that gets added here because these are the kind of things that kids are going to want to build out and then kind of push around the kitchen table. And you have a lot of collectability as well, just like we have with the dragons, just like we have with the mechs. And Ninjago is a theme that is jam-packed with collectability because it is a theme that has, you know, sets that have similar kind of things going on with them, like dragons or temples or mechs or vehicles. But you also have characters that complement each other, and so it's not enough to just get one of these because you're going to want to get the car from some of the other, you know, characters in Ninjago, or the mech from the other characters, and so that's going to add to that collectability factor. Moving into number 5 here, and now we have the Ninja Ultra Combo Mech, and again we have another mech. Now this is a very different style of mech from the ones we've just looked at. 71765, and immediately you can see that this is a whole different type of set because this is a large set. This is over 1,000 pieces, 1,104 pieces in the box here, and 7 minifigures. So obviously this is just jam-packed. We do have one unique minifigure as well, and a price per piece of 8 cents. Very, very reasonably priced and good value here. A $90 purchase price on this. Now, again, $90 is a bit of a stretch from where we just looked at, and when you look at Ninjago sets overall, they do tend to be on the lower price end, but then we also do often have a couple of sets that fall into those higher prices. We've had $130 Destiny Bounty ships and different things, and then we obviously have the much more expensive Ninjago City Gardens and markets and those kind of sets. So there is an appetite for those higher price sets, and sometimes Lego investors or collectors may look at Ninjago and think there's going to be no collectors out there who are going to pay $200 for a set, so I'm not going to invest in it. And for example, for this one, it's a $90 MSRP. If you want the value to grow over time, if you're a Lego investor, you're going to want to see a world where this is selling for $200, right? If it's $90 on the shelves, you want to try and get it at 20% off, you know, so maybe you're paying like, you know, $72 for the set, and so you're going to want it to sell for $200 in order to, you know, more than double your money. Is there a world where you're going to see a set like this selling for $200? Those are the kind of questions you got to be asking yourself. And when it comes to a theme like Ninjago that is more targeted towards children, sometimes Lego investors can think that that's not possible, right? They can kind of get caught up in this idea that no one's going to pay $200 for a Ninjago Lego set. In actuality, Ninjago City and markets and docks, those larger priced Ninjago sets actually have a really good market of buyers, and they sell quite well. That is why the Lego Group continues that theme and releases new sets in that lineup, you know, every couple of years, because it is doing well and it's a great kind of product for them. And so that tells you that there is an audience for high priced Ninjago sets out there. I've done well in the past with some of the higher priced Ninjago sets as well as an investment. If that's your hesitation with these sets, then, you know, hopefully that helps a little bit, but definitely do go and check out some history on some of the higher priced Ninjago sets. So that $90 purchase price doesn't scare me at all, and as long as the other things line up for me, then I could see this as a good potential investment. $90 and released in January 2022, retiring in December of 2023. Now, it is just packed here with detail, and it kind of has the look of something like Optimus Prime, you know, or Voltron, right? It kind of looks like both Voltron and Optimus Prime, and you know, you can't go wrong with that, because that's a type of design that people really like. That resonates with people who like mech and machinery type stuff, right? And that's the kind of design that is gonna float well with Ninjago fans. You also get the minifigures, and you got a good balance here between the good guys and bad guys that you get in this set. It adds a lot of dimension of playability to it. The set feels very complete. It feels like you could just have this one set and you're gonna have a good time, right? You don't need to go get the other sets like you do with the small mech sets and different things to be able to kind of complement each other. In general, I'm a huge fan. I love the colors. I love the different parts that you get. So that is one of the bigger mechs. Now, next up we have Lloyd's Legendary Dragon. Once again, we're back to another dragon here. This is a much bigger dragon, as I mentioned. You know, they can really range in piece count and price. This is Lloyd's Legendary Dragon set number 71766. Now, 747 parts. So a whole lot bigger than the last one we looked at. 4 minifigures in the box on this one as well, with a price per piece of 9 cents. Pretty good value here. A $70 purchase price. So we went from a $20 dragon to a $70 dragon here. You know, it's 3.5 times the price. So substantial difference in exactly what you're getting here. Does that mean that there's less collectability between the two dragons? I think so, right? I think it really does. You're not really going to be hunting down a $20 dragon if you want to collect a $70 dragon. They're quite different. They don't look like they kind of sit together on a shelf. They don't look like they're part of the same lineup. It's kind of like getting a $50 Lego Technic set and then a $400 Lego Technic set like the supercars and thinking that they're the same thing. They're very different. The MSRP changes things a little bit for this one. There still is such demand out there for these higher priced dragons because the detail you get in them is really, really good. Now, this same release date, January 2022, and retiring in December 2023. As you can start to see with some of this, is that the release date and retirement date on Ninjago sets can be reasonably predictable, right? You can actually start to see some patterns here in the, you know, in terms of being released in waves and retired in waves, and some real kind of obvious patterns. Other themes are also like that, like Speed Champions, but then there are other themes out there that can be a little bit more sporadic, like architecture or icons, where it's a little bit less obvious exactly which sets are going to retire this year. So, you know, again, when you look at this one, you've just got such detail inside the box here. And then you get your minifigures, of course, which every Ninjago set is just, it's a real driver of playability in the Ninjago sets. You also have a handful of unique parts here. You can see it with the kind of the upper face of the dragon and the wings and different things. And these are kind of unique parts, which will likely bring up some of the part out value on these sets as well. It helps to kind of bring up the overall value of what's inside the box here. So I'm a fan of this one. I think this is great. Now, I would be trying to get it on discount. I would not be paying the full $70 for it, but still a great set. All right, moving on now, we have the Ninja Dojo Temple. Our first temple set on this list. And again, this is a whole other kind of area of sub-theme of Ninjago sets that we often see. Set number 71767, Ninja Dojo Temple. Now, piece count of 1,394, the most that we've seen so far on this list. 8 minifigures and 3 unique. So this is just action-packed when it comes to the minifig count. Price per piece of 7 cents, very reasonably priced when compared to some of those other sets we've looked at so far. And $100 MSRP. Now, for a temple type set, $100 doesn't feel weird, right? That's kind of what you'd expect when you look at this set and you see it's almost 1,400 pieces. $100 seems reasonable. Now, the dragon, on the other hand, some people may think that $70 is a little too much for a dragon with a couple of minifigures, but a temple with 8 minifigures may seem more reasonable for that price. And I would kind of agree on that because, again, we do see a very low price per piece, which does tell us that the price is actually pretty reasonable for the number of pieces in the box. $100 doesn't seem bad to me for this one. And again, that would mean that, you know, there's more of a likelihood of appetite for the price to grow if the perceived value is good. Now, this was released in January 2022 and retiring in December of 2023. Now, this kind of set really reminds me of my childhood with Lego. And of course, when I was growing up with Lego, we did not have Ninjago, but we did have other types of sets. I used to love the castle-based sets, but particularly the one that this reminds me of is called the Temple of Anubis. It's one of the Egypt kind of explorer type Egyptian sets. You know, this kind of looks similar. Also, obviously, in the last couple of years, with Ninjago specifically, we've had a lot of sets that have been similar to this one. So it's lacking a little bit in uniqueness for that reason. It can feel like a rinse and repeat system, right? It's kind of a tried and tested model for Lego Group now to just release a Ninjago temple and make it look something like this with big doors and, you know, a tiered kind of structure with cool colors like you see with the green roof and different things here. And the temples work. There is appetite for them. People love them and they're a lot of fun. They look great on a shelf. They've got a good mixture of of playability and displayability, which sometimes can be one or the other with Lego sets, but this one has both of them. Now you also get a mech inside of this one, which is just crazy to me, right? You got the temple, you get all the minifigures, and you get a mech. This is Kai's mech, right? Kai is the red ninja here. If you buy this set, you're also gonna maybe want to go buy the other mechs that we looked at, the other $10 mechs, because now you have Kai's mech, you're gonna want to go get Lloyd's mech or Jay's mech, and so there, that kind of adds to a reason to go and buy some of those other sets. Now this should really show you what the Lego group are trying to do, right? They are masterminds behind trying to drive collectability, trying to drive every customer to buy more than one product. That's exactly what they're doing here by including this mech with the temple. I just love that. You know, they're very, very smart at doing that. So some careful strategies there from Lego Group. Now moving on, next up we have Jay and Naya's Race Car Evo, another vehicle based set, and this one actually we get two vehicles, so I feel like we're kind of spoiled on this one. It is a little bit of a bigger set. It's 536 pieces in this one. Set number 71776 with 4 minifigures and 1 unique minifigure, and 9 cents price per piece and a $50 purchase price. Released in January 2022, retiring in December of 2023. It does look like a lot of fun. I like the look of this one. Again, some of the vehicles can just be fun to build, fun to play with. Here you do get two. You get the helicopter, you get the car. It adds to the scene, of course, of having a chase type scene. So I like it. I'm a fan of this one. Good value, good, you know, everything that you get inside the box. So moving on now, we have the next one is Jay's Golden Dragon Motorbike. So this is set number 71768 with 137 pieces inside the box, 2 minifigures, and a 15 cents price per piece. Now, again, with the lower price sets, we can see that price per piece going up a little bit. Sometimes we see less pieces in the box. It's a $20 set for 137 pieces. Now, this has a shorter shelf life than everything we've looked at until now. This is June 2022 release, so only a year and a half on the shelves by the time it retires in December of 2023. It's a bit of fun, right? It's a $20 set. It does feel maybe a little bit pricey at 20. I maybe would see this being better at 15 when compared to other similar sets. We get 2 minifigures, and this version of Jay I think is very, very cool with the you know, the wings and different things. So next up we have Cole's Dragon Cruiser. Now again, we have another dragon based set, so there's collectability factors between these also, because now we have, even though this is different than the bike, it is another dragon based set where the main characters, the ninjas, have these wings, and so if you wanted to collect those versions of the characters, you're going to be picking up multiple of these types of sets. This is Cole, of course, with the Dragon Cruiser, set number 71769, piece count of 384, 4 minifigures, so it's actually a pretty big set here. It's 12 cents price per piece, $45 purchase price. It's you know, it's a reasonable value. 12 cents price per piece, you do get a lot. You get 4 minifigures, and it looks like a lot of fun. So this was also June 2022, same release date, same retirement date, a year and a half on the shelves. This one, it does kind of remind me of some of those Technic sets, the pullback Technic sets. I do think that the count of minifigures here, having 4 minifigures, is pulling up the price a little bit. All right, moving on now, we get the Crystal King Temple. Quite a different looking temple from what we're used to seeing. Set number 71771. 703 pieces in this one with 6 minifigures. Now 4 of those minifigures are unique to this set. You cannot get them anywhere else. Pretty good value with 11 cents price per piece in terms of the piece count in the box. It's an $80 set, so I think that makes sense at $80. June 2022 release date and a December 2023 retirement date on this one. So just looking at the design here, you know, it looks like fun. It looks like a lot of playability. In terms of display and putting this on a shelf, I'm not a fan. I think it just looks a bit too segmented and kind of crazy. You know, it's not all in one piece. Of course, you have kind of different portions of the temple. Kind of looks unfinished, right? When you look at this, it just looks like you have built a Lego set. And so I think that's a drawback for it, of course. But again, you know, I can see that the fun aspect of this, it does look like you would enjoy playing with it. All right, next up we have 71772. This is the Crystal King. Now this is a 722 piece count with 5 minifigures, and 3 of those minifigures are unique. It has 11 cents price per piece and $80 purchase price. $80 may feel a little bit high when you look at a picture of what's included here, but it does have a lot of parts. There's a ton of detail in this build. Released in June 2022, retiring in December of 2023 for a shelf life of a year and a half. All right, next up we have Lloyd's Golden Ultra Dragon, set number 71774. And here we once again see an improvement on some of those lower priced dragon sets. This one is just absolutely awesome. 989 parts, right? So it's a pretty big set. This is 9 minifigures, 1 unique. Price per piece is a little bit high at 15 cents because the MSRP is $150 on this one. Now, $150 versus the $20 dragon that we saw, even versus the $70 dragon, $150 on this one. You do get a lot in the box, of course, with 989 parts and 9 minifigures, but I still feel $150 may maybe stretching the price a little bit on this one. I would have preferred to see this a little lower. The price is quite high and could be a detractor for some people, even those who are collecting the dragons, because it's quite different in terms of the pricing. So June 2022 release and December 2023 retirement. And the detail you get here is just absolutely incredible. It's just a massive scale of this dragon, of course, with 4 heads, golden parts, tons of minifigures, including a golden minifigure. This is just awesome. So you get a lot in here, but $150 for me, it's a little high. Moving into number 14 here, and again, we have another mech set. This is Naya's Samurai X mech. This is set number 71775. And again, this is one of the more expensive type mech sets. Very, very different than those $10 mech sets. This is 1,003 pieces inside this one. 8 minifigures, 5 of which are unique, a 12 cents price per piece, MSRP of $120. So this is a pretty big mech set, right? This is June 2022 release date and retiring in December of 2023. Now, again, we see something that just looks like a lot of fun to build. Similar to the last expensive mech set that we looked at here, we do get tons of minifigures, we do get a lot of playability, we do get a package that looks very complete. So moving into 15, now we have Lloyd's Mech Battle Evo. Again, we have another mech set. This is one of those smaller sets, but you get 2 inside the box here. This is set number 71781. This is 223 pieces in the box here and 2 minifigures. One of those is unique. You do get a price per piece of 9 cents, which is pretty good because again, this is a $20 set. As we've seen with some other sets, when the price is low, sometimes the price per piece can be high, but here we have 223 pieces. So we get pretty reasonable value here for this $20, and it's a January 2023 release, which means it is retiring the same year of release. That is just a 1-year shelf life on this one. Now, it's a lot of fun of a set, of course, when you have not just one mech, but 2 mechs, and you're going to be able to battle against each other and different things, and having the villain mech really helps here. The one disappointment that I have with this is that it's Lloyd, right? It's Lloyd's mech. We already saw Lloyd's mech. There's a $10 variant of this set out already. So this is a duplicate, basically. You can get the same mech. Now, it is a little bit different in design, but once again, it's another depiction of the same character mech. People who had already bought the $10 set are probably not going to want to buy this one, and vice versa. So it actually, I think they negatively impact each other. But either way, still a lot going on here. Pretty good price and pretty good value. A ton of fun. All right, so next up we have Kai's Dragon Power Flip. Now, Ninjago has had for the last couple of years these small kind of spinjitzu type sets. I wouldn't even call them sets because there's not a whole lot of Lego building going on here, but it is 75 parts in this one. This is set number 71777. You do get the minifigure, of course, and 15 cents price per piece. Quite expensive. $11 purchase price. That is gone up over time. They used to be 10, now they're 11. June 2023 release date, so this is being retired very, very quickly. 6 months on the shelf. We also have Naya's Dragon Power Drift. It's the same idea. It's another one of these spinjitzu sets. This is 71778. 57 pieces in this one. This is a 19 cents price per piece, so it's actually quite expensive here. You do get the minifigure. Again, 11 cents price per piece, 6-month shelf life. Then you also have Lloyd. So Lloyd, the green ninja here. So the Dragon Power Spin, another spinjitzu set. This is set number 71779 with 56 pieces. This is a 20-cent price per piece. That is quite high again. $11 purchase price and also 6 months on the shelf. So that is Lloyd's Spinjitzu. So again, a collection of these spinners retiring in December. So what do you think about these Ninjago retiring sets? There is a whole host of Ninjago sets ranging from vehicles to temples to dragons to spinners. A ton of different types of Ninjago sets retiring this year. Which of the sets on this list are you going out there and making sure that you stock up on before it disappears forever? And if you enjoyed this video, I also made a video where I walked through every Lego Ideas set that's retiring this year. So if you want to watch that, you can check it out right here. And if you want to see a spreadsheet of every Lego retiring set in 2023, you can grab a complete list of that in my description down below. So thank you so much for being here. And once again, I'm Shane from BrickBucks.net, and I will see you in the next one.